Well, the first thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. That's the first thing that I. Now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority. Well, the first thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. That's the first thing that I. Now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority. Well, the first thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. That's the first thing that I. Now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority. Well, the first thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. That's the first thing that I. Now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority.
Welcome to the Jaybefaunt show, everybody. I'm your host, Jaybefaunt Leroy. So good to see all of you in the chat today, as well as people who are watching the rewatch. It is good to see you. Just to let you guys know that the Jaybefaunt show typically does a show on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I do maybe extra shows throughout the week, this being one of those extra special shows. Thank you for anybody who is also contributing to my Patreon or to my coffee. Thank you so much for your support. I deeply appreciate it. The reason why I don't have the patrons scrolling at the bottom right now is because I want to get more attention to this organization, the DC Abortion Fund. If you guys are able to do that as well, if you guys can contribute to that, that'd be great. So Barack Obama, let's just, and shout out to Art of Appeal for sharing this, but let's do it again.
Well, the first thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act.
Lie number one. Lie number one. First thing I do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. First thing, right? That's what he said. Right here. Right all up in here. He said that, right? And then after 2 years later.
That's the first thing that I. Now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority.
It's not his highest legislative priority? He said, but wait a minute. But Mr. President, you said that the first thing that you were going to do was to sign the Freedom of Choice Act. Were you just blowing smoke up our behinds just to get votes so that you can win? Please, chat, tell me, what is this? Because everybody, you got a lot of liberals going, oh, well, the Republicans, they're to blame for this. If I take a mouse and put it in the cage of a hungry snake, what is the snake going to do? Let me ask again. If I put a mouse in the cage of a hungry snake, what is the snake going to do? You know the snake is going to try to eat the mouse. Right? Hold on. What have the Republicans been saying the entire time since Roe v. Wade was ruled in favor in the Supreme Court? What have they been saying? We got to overturn Roe v. Wade. We're going to try to overturn Roe v. Wade. We got to get rid of this law, blah, blah, blah. They've been saying that for years. And what have Democrats been doing? Oh, well, we gotta make sure Roe v. Wade is not overturned. Vote for us donate to our campaigns. For years, they've been doing that. Y'all could have did it when y'all had a majority in the House and Senate when Carter was put into an administration. Y'all could have did it when Clinton had his House and Senate majority in the Clinton administration in the beginning. Y'all could have did it in 2008 to 2010 when Obama had a majority in the House and a super filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. And he was also the first black president, so you guys could have ran on that. Right now, I'm going to say it again, right now, Joe Biden has a majority in the Senate and a majority in the House, and he is the president. Y'all could literally codify that into law right now. Or at least try to get rid of the filibuster. And please don't come at me with the whole Christian Cinema Joe Manchin. They won't allow it. It's funny how Christian Cinema and Joe Manchin can be so powerful and not allow something like that. And yet you got same people coming at us saying, well, they can't force a vote on Medicare for all. They don't have that much power. Hell, can't Bernie force a vote on Medicare for all in the Senate? Oh, but he doesn't have that much power. Yet you guys give all this power, attribute all this difference to people like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. But then when it comes to doing something that actually what the people need, oh, we just can't go up against them. Let's look at the lie one more time.
Well, the first thing I'd do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. That's the first thing that now, the Freedom of Choice Act is not my highest legislative priority.
That's Obama's legacy, people. First black president. Yeah, that's his legacy. To say he dropped the ball is saying that it was by accident. It was not by accident. This was not by accident. My brother in Thor, you did this on purpose. Did I stutter? Did I stutter? Obama did this on purpose. Look, a lot of people may not say it. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you can't put the blame. Yes, I am. I'm putting the blame on him. I'm putting the blame on him. I'm putting the blame on Clinton. I'm putting the blame on Carter. Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, we love Carter. No. Do not come at me with that. I'm not. No, Carter's also to blame too. Yeah, blame Carter. Blame Reid. Blame Pelosi. Blame Schumer. Blame them all. Blame all of them. I'm also going to blame Ruth Bader Ginsburg too. Yes, I don't care if she's dead. I'm blaming her too. Because she knew where her health was. She knew that she could have actually stepped to the side and let somebody younger come in and be part of the Supreme Court. But instead, she didn't want to. She let her ego get to the best of her just so that she can stay in the court. So yes, I'm blaming Ruth Bader Ginsburg too. Come at me. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Come at me. Because you know what? Here's the thing. The Democrats were never on the side of women in the first place. They were never on your sister's side. They were never on your wife's side. They were never on your daughter's side. They were never on your auntie's side. They were never on your cousin's side. They were never on your mama's side. They were never on anybody's side. But the super rich and the corporations. And now you see. And the thing is here's the crazy part. Many of us, especially at RBN, and many of us, hell, you can hate Jimmy Dore all you want, but he's been saying it for over the last year. People at MCSC Network have been saying it all last year. The Bank Sisters have been saying it. People at Any News Network have been saying it. We all have been saying it. What we have been saying, that they do not give a shit about you. The Democrats don't care. And guess what? Now the Democrats are literally texting you on your phone saying, oh, well, the Supreme Court did this, so in order to put Roe v. Wade is now on the ballot, so I guess we need to put, we need you guys to donate to our Act Blue to put us back in power. What? Why am I going to get somebody that failed to do what they were supposed to do and put them back in power to continue to fail to do what they're supposed to do? What sense does that make? What sense? It doesn't make any sense at all for them to do that. Colin, guess what, buddy? You're officially my first super chat ever on my channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. Colin says, no one is talking about this, but this will actually activate the Republican base. They will vote in droves in the fall as Dems' vote will be suppressed. The red wave is coming. Yes. Yes, Colin. Yes, absolutely. The thing is that people are saying, oh, well, this is going to cause a blue wave. No, the fuck it won't. I'm going to tell you this right now. Quote me. Yeah. Hear me now. Quote me later. I'm in a full agreement with Colin. There's going to be a super gigantic red wave. The Democrats are going to get shellacked this November. Because guess what? A shit ton of people are actually going to forget about this. And a good majority of them are going to be cis hetero men. Men. Why? Because it doesn't directly affect them. So therefore, they're not going to give a shit. Men! Cis men. Gay, bi, trans women, everybody that owns a pair of testicles that are within the sound of my voice, you need to care about this. All y'all need to care about this. All of us. Because if you think that this is just going to stop at women and trans men's body autonomy, oh, you got another thing coming. Oh, they're coming after us. I don't care if you're a cis, hetero, white dude. Your body autonomy is also on the line too. Yes, guess what? They're coming after you. Because the thing is they don't give a shit about you. And ultimately, what is this about? This isn't about life. This is about creating more workers. That's ultimately what this is about. And what have black women been saying the entire time? Black women have been like, yo, y'all need to get the shit straight. Hell, look, what have we been saying? What have women been saying the entire time, especially black women? If you guys can, please donate to DCAbortionFund.org. Donate to them. Because the thing is that people are going to sit here and, hand wring about the morality of it. Like, look, you can make the morality about this all you want. The issue isn't the morality of whether it should be done or not. The issue is, do you want safe abortions or not? Abortions are going to happen regardless, whether you like them or not. They have been happening for eons of time. You can sit here and tell me I don't agree with people taking all different types of drugs, but you can agree that if you want to slow the spread of HIV, then you want to distribute clean needles to people who are taking drugs. Now, that's a very sloppy comparison, and I do apologize, but I had to make the comparison Because if you want to slow the spread of HIV, then guess what? You better start distributing them clean needles. Because people are going to still take drugs regardless. Guess what? People are still going to be having abortions regardless. So you might as well make them safe so that people won't keep dying. That's what this is about. It's not about the moral argument. If you don't like abortions, don't get one. And if you don't have a uterus, shut the fuck up. That's basically what it is. Don't have one if you don't want one. Okay. But at least the people who do have one, who do need one, who do want to get one, they can get it safely. And I want you guys, every single time someone dies from a back alley abortion, I want you to think of Pelosi, Obama, Biden, Schumer, Clinton, Carter. I want you to think of all those names every single time, because they could have codified it into the law when they had a chance. And they didn't. Why didn't they do it? The reason why they didn't do it is in your phones and your text messages right now. It's in your phone right now. They're fundraising off of it. They're fundraising off of your oppression. They're literally fundraising off your oppression. If you don't want to be oppressed no more, then you better give us some money. And then they leave the oppression there just so that you blindly continue to put more money into their Act Blue. Donate $27 to our Act Blue every single time. Are y'all done getting played? Are you done being played by both parties? All the vote blue no matter who, guess what? We're literally in a blue administration. Where's that gotten us? Obama allowed the Senate to block him confirming Merrick Garland. Guess what? Then we got Brett Kavanaugh. And please do not get me started on Clarence Thomas. Oh my God. You know, it's funny. Clarence Thomas wants to put that back into the states. You know, Roe v. Wade, but I don't see him trying to send Loving versus Virginia back to the states. Oh, Loving versus Virginia. Loving versus Virginia is what made it legal for couples of different races to marry one another. Clarence Thomas is married to a white woman. Apparently, he's like, oh no, we don't have to leave that one up to, you don't have to take that back to the states. But when it comes to a woman's body autonomy, yeah. I'm going to the chat really quick. So good to see all of you here in the chat. I'm sorry I had to start off that way, but I'm pissed, not just for my sisters and family who, this is going to directly affect, but I'm also pissed off because it is going to also set a precedent to come after people like me. Let me ask you this, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but was Brown versus Board of Education codified into law? Was it? I'm sincerely asking. If it was, then please let me know. Was voting rights codified into law? I know we had the Voting Rights Act of 1964, but was that officially codified into law? What about, you know, them taking away, the right to uh, the right to Miranda rights? That was just shot down by the Supreme Court. What about that? I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you. Let me see. Good to see your Uncle Warren in the chat as well. Yeah, they planned this for decades. Democrats did nothing to stop it. You knew. Which is why, which is why I say this. Republicans and Democrats work in tandem with each other. They are not here for you. And then people get mad and pissed off at us for saying we're trying to reform the Democratic Party is a fool's errand. On Tuesday, Shama Sawant will be here on this channel. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, one of the most famous things she said is the Democratic, voting for the Democratic Party is a graveyard. It doesn't do anything. The Democrats are a right-wing party with socially liberal language. That's all they are. That's all they are. Everything they do is performative. Everything. Let me share my screen really quick. And shout out to Margaret Kimberley. I like to call her Auntie Margaret because, well, she's based, and I need Margaret Kimberley. You need to come on my show because I appreciate everything you do. But Margaret Kimberley said, if you're not going to protest at Obama's house, don't bother at all. Just stay home. That's what she said. She's right. I mean, when it comes to protesting at some of these people's houses, whatever happens, happens. That's all I got to say. Let's go to another one. Another person that's based that I absolutely can't wait to have on here. Danny Haiphong. He said 5 years ago, Nancy Pelosi was blaming the Democratic Party's focus on abortion rights for Donald Trump's presidency. Within hours after the SCOTUS decision on Roe, Pelosi went on a fundraising email begging constituents to vote blue no matter who. He said it's past time to Dem exit. This is in 2017 from the New York Magazine. Pelosi says Democrats' focus on abortion access is hurting the party. Wait. Hurting the party. That's what she said. Hurting the party. She said it's literally hurting the party. Can y'all believe that? Can you believe this? Are you serious right now? Look, hang on. Wait. This has aged so poorly. I gotta take a sip of tea for this one. This aged too poorly. This tea is damn good, but that quote definitely isn't. Y'all squad, y'all still calling her Mama Bear? Is she still Mama Bear, huh? Is she? Hold up. What about this? And she went even further, blaming Hillary Clinton's loss on Democrats on focusing on social issues like marriage equality and abortion rights. You know what's going to be on the chopping block next, right? People like me who basically, if I wanted to marry my boyfriend, they're going to try to take that away, right? Let's go to the next one. On to the next one. You know what? This is a quote. It says, you know what? That's why Donald Trump is president of the United States. The evangelicals and the Catholics, the anti-marriage equality, anti-choice. This is how he got to be president, she said. Everything was trumped, literally and figuratively, by that. And then this is an email by her. She says, I need your attention. Trump's Supreme Court just ruled to rip reproductive rights away from every single woman in this country. I don't say that lightly. How we act today will decide the future of reproductive rights. We can either sit back and admit defeat or these far-right extremists, or we can rise up and meet this once in a generation moment and marshal a response so historic that we can make every last anti-choice Republican regret what they've done. Please, I've never needed your support more than today. Can you chip in $15 so we can win these midterms and finally codify reproductive rights into law? There's the grift. There's the grift. I'm telling y'all, here's the grift, y'all. This is what they do. This is the good cop, bad cop. Look, y'all need to share this stream on social media and emails, whatever. I'm telling y'all right now, this is what the Democratic Party does. And if you're still thinking, oh, we just got to vote for more Democrats in order to change it, boo-boo, stop being a fool. This is not what they're not going to allow this to happen. Look, this is the same person that went to Texas to campaign and endorse an anti-body autonomy Democrat, Henry Cuellar, instead of promoting Jessica Cisneros. She basically endorsed a pro-forced birth Democrat. And suddenly, she's now saying, oh, well, we got to fight against the Republicans, even though you literally went to Texas to endorse one with a D in front of his name. Really? Look, peep the game, folks. Peep the game. That's what this is. It is a grift. This is a GRIFT to the max. That's what this is. It ain't nothing but that. And people are like, oh, well, we got to beat the Republicans. How about actually making the Democrats do exactly what they say they're going to do? And if they're not, then guess what? Throw it out. And by throwing them out, I mean getting out of the party and going a different direction. Yes, Sabby is right. It is a total grift. I'm going to say something, and some of y'all probably already know this, but it bears repeating. The Democratic Party is a private organization, not a bureaucratic institution. I'm going to repeat myself. The Democratic Party is a private organization, not a bureaucratic institution. That being said, it means that they don't have to give a shit about what you think. Their purpose is, just like with all capitalists, to make money. That's it. That's all they're there for, is to make money. They basically are using the federal government as a money-making tool. That's all it is. Abortion rights is part of their brand. Gay rights, part of their brand. Rights for those of us who are black, It's part of their brand. Environmental issues, part of their brand. They're not actually serious about it. They just want you to think they're serious about it. Yeah. Yeah. The thing, because the thing is that everybody's sitting here, trying to hand wring about how they can try to codify into law when we had chance after chance after chance after chance. Grifters supporting grifters. That's exactly what I say. Like, my God. And I hate to put it to you, but it's gotten worse. Y'all think that the whole kneeling on kente cloth was bad? Oh, by the way, before we get to that, I just want to make sure that you guys see this. Y'all didn't know this? You have a forced birth right winger that's president of the United States. He doesn't actually believe in codifying Roe v. Wade into law. From 1974 to 2006, look, he's held this view for many years. You actually think that he's going to actually reverse on this? You actually think he actually evolved on this? Hell no, he didn't evolve on this. He just said it just so that you will vote for him. Joe Biden's record for opposing abortion rights. In 1974, he said, I don't like the Supreme Court decision on abortion. I don't think that a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body. That was in 1974. 1982, Joe Biden says he votes to allow states to overturn Roe versus Wade. So basically, that's what Joe Biden did. So this is exactly what Joe Biden wanted. And 1988, and that was 40 years ago. 1988, Joe Biden repeatedly votes against inclusion of exceptions of rape and incest in the Hyde Amendment. In 1992, right, 30 years ago, Joe Biden voices opposition for litmus test on abortion for Supreme Court justices. 1994, Joe Biden brags that he is against federal funding on abortion on no less than 50 occasions. In 2003, Joe Biden votes for a bill that would overturn Roe versus Wade by criminalizing the most common procedures used after the first trimester. And in 2006, Joe Biden says, I do not view abortion as a choice and a right. That's your president. That's your president. Weird, right? Weird. How weird is that? So, taking all that into consideration, I want you to take a listen to this. Taking all that into consideration, I want y'all to hear this.
I call on everyone, no matter how deeply they care about this decision, to keep all protests peaceful. Peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. No intimidation. Violence is never acceptable. Threats and intimidation are not speech. We must stand against violence in any form, regardless of your rationale. I call on.
Now, let me ask y'all this. What about the police that are being violent against the protesters right now who are peacefully protesting? Have you talked to the police about this? Have you? Like, Have you honestly went to the police about them being peaceful protesters? Mr. Fund the Police? Oh, but it's okay for them to bash our heads in for protesting our rights, but we have to be the ones that are peaceful, even though you're trying to force people to have kids. This clown. Think about this. He's talking about how he's disappointed in the ruling. No, he's not. No, he's not. Absolutely not. He's not. Trust me, he's not. Okay. So, by the way, Joe Biden was also the vice president of the United States during the Obama administration. Um, let me show you something. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I got something for y'all. Hang on. Let me share my screen right here. What? 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 Biden warns of dangerous path as Clarence Thomas eyes gay marriage. Who was the one who allowed Clarence Thomas, who made pathway for Clarence Thomas to be in the Supreme Court in the first place? Who was the one? Who was the one? All right. Hold up. I'm gonna show you. Who was the one? Bam. Y'all know who this is? Y'all know who this is? This is Anita Hill. She testified in which then Senator Biden, she was basically telling y'all that Clarence Thomas is a sexual predator and a creep. And she testified against Clarence Thomas, who was not running, but he was eyed to be appointed to the Supreme Court. And basically, she had receipts. And she was basically putting her reputation on the line so that we wouldn't have somebody like him on the Supreme Court. And guess what? Joe Biden didn't let it happen. Joe Biden was deeply adversarial to her. Handsy Joe Biden, by the way, how handsy? Just ask Tara Reid. Because he SA'd her years ago. And so you have Joe Biden also going up against another woman, this time a black woman, when she was trying to let us know about who Clarence Thomas really was. And so with that being said, Clarence Thomas is one of the reasons why we got this decision today. Clarence Thomas. So who do you have to blame for this also? Joseph Biden. Joseph Biden. Blame him too. Blame him, blame Obama, blame Clinton, blame Carter. Blame them. Because the thing is that everybody's sitting here trying to blame Republicans. Look, you knew there were a snake. You knew that there was a snake. You knew that they were going to do what they were going to do. And the Democrats counted on it. They counted on it. Yeah. Yep. And yep. They said we had to vote for Biden to stop all this happening. And what happened? And this is the type of stuff that people expect to happen during a Republican administration. And yet, it happened during this administration. Yes, Sabby, you look, you, me, Nick, CJ, Shosana, Rome, everybody at INN, everybody at MCSC, Jimmy Dore, Henkel, we all said it. We all were saying it. We all said that this was coming. We all warned y'all. And we told you, stay away from the Democrats. Just as much as you stay away from Republicans, stay away from the Democrats. Vote third party, or if you don't want to vote, then just get your ass out in the streets. Either one or both. But do not vote for these people. And try to do the best you possibly can. But guess what? Nope. Just responding to a comment on Rockfin. Any word says love this decision. Totally in line with the Constitution and send it to the states. So should we send the decision back to the states whether or not I should be a slave? Should that be sent back to the states too? I have some people who are loving this in Rockfin. He said there's a pretty significant black pro-life movement. I guess they're far-right extremists too. Look, here's the thing. You can disagree with it all you want. It is not about the moral argument. Like I said, it is about the right of women to have them safely. That's what it's about. Yeah, for the most part. That's what it feels like, actually. Because the thing is that everybody's sitting here talking about that we should give it all back to the states. And it's like, okay, but when it was in the hands of the states, did people actually have that freedom? Some states did, some states didn't. And guess what? There were a lot of women dying in back alley abortions. The question isn't whether or not you believe in it or not, it's whether to keep it safe. So we're going to take Loving versus Virginia back to the States too. So then, like, for instance, there's some of us who are married to people of different races, so we can only get married in certain states. Should we allow that too? Because apparently it should be, according to the Constitution. And by the way, why are we treating the Constitution like it's some holy document when it was written by a bunch of wealthy land-owning white men who didn't give any regards to people who look like me? Why are we giving deference to a 250-year-old document that should have been ratified year after year after year since then, but isn't? Why are we giving deference to a document that still allows for slavery? Yes, still allows for slavery in the 13th Amendment by means of an exception. Why are we giving deference to that? And yet somehow we treat the Constitution as this holy end-all be-all document? What? Hell, what? Look at what Cuba did. I think it was in 2019 or 2019? Yeah. They ratified their constitution. They actually had the people vote. Thanks for the super chat, Colin. It says, honestly, everyone should be in the streets holding our votes hostage to demand Dems to do something. Yeah. Force a vote. Force the vote. Oh, you remember that? Force the vote? Yeah, we were talking about doing that for Medicare for All, right? Which also would cover abortion rights, by the way. Would also cover gender reassignment surgery for our trans brothers and sisters. That would also cover that too. That also could have helped in the codification of Roe v. Wade, but no. Mighty Messer says, back to the states is temporary. It needs to be legislated by Congress, lawmakers. It should be made legal, but no tax money should ever be used, as nobody should be forced to help fund abortions. Man, fuck that. No. Look, pay for it. Pay for it. I'm sorry, but maybe I'm that far to the left, but yeah, pay for it. No. And the thing is that it's not tax money. It's federal dollars, okay? Let's go back to MMT. It's federal dollars. Sorry, I'm going to have to disagree. But the thing is that it should be made like legal, number one. Number two, it's a medical procedure. Put it under, nationalize the healthcare system and put it under that. No, women are not going to sit here and die on my watch. Absolutely not. Nope. Sorry. I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Yeah, whatever. I'm sick and tired of it, And if I look, here's the thing. If I lose followers over that, then I lose followers over that. If I lose subs over that, I lose subs over it. But here's the thing. We're literally living in a situation where people will talk about my body, my choice. And here's the thing. Did I believe in jab mandates? No. Do I believe in mandates on body autonomy? No. So therefore, your body autonomy is your body autonomy. So therefore, it's your body is your choice. Now, if you want to educate people about it, okay, fine. But the thing is that you're not going to force somebody to have a kid, and you're not going to force somebody to have a jab. And I know some people are going to come after me for that, but guess what? Look, I'm trying to be consistent on this. Yes, John, exactly. Forced to pay for healthcare. Like, for instance, why should I have to pay for people to be executed when I don't believe in capital punishment? I don't believe in capital punishment, and yet it's still done. If you guys want to talk about tax dollars, okay, then fine. My tax dollars are used to being kill people who are on death row. So if you're going to make cases for that, then guess what? Then okay, yeah, then let it fund people to have safe abortions under a nationalized healthcare system. Like what? And the funny thing is, there's a lot of men that are protesting about this. There are a lot of men who are like, oh, well, we shouldn't be doing this. It should be going back to the states. If you have testicles, shut the fuck up. If you have testicles, look, it is not up to me. You know why I'm having this stream? Because I'm really showing solidarity to my sisters, to people who have uteruses. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this stream. I'm showing solidarity with them because the thing is that if their rights are taken away, guess what? That means my rights will be taken away. And if you're not going to speak out for them, then guess what? They're coming for your ass. Exactly, Colin. If you don't want Congress to fund abortions, then Congress should fund policies that help people. Universal health care, federal jobs guarantee, etc. Congress ain't doing that. Yes. You want to slow and lower the amount of abortions that are happening? All right. Then number one, let's make it mandatory that sex education is taught in schools. Because a lot of parents aren't doing it. So guess what? It needs to be taught. Okay. Number two, we need to fund schools federally so that every single school has the same amount towards education so that they all have wonderful amounts of resources and then teachers are paid well. Number three, housing should be a human right, so therefore people wouldn't have to worry about that. Number four, make sure that everybody has a living wage so that parents are able to spend more time with their kids so they can teach them about things like sex. Because parents are working 2 or 3 jobs now just to survive. We're going to talk about that. Then we also need to talk about having universal health care. See, here's the thing. All these people want to do is they want to address it by focusing on the symptoms. They never want to tackle the underlying causes. Some people are doing it because they just can't afford to take care of a kid. Why can't they afford to take care of a kid? Why? Why can't they afford to take care of a kid? You ask me. And please don't come at me with that personal responsibility bullshit, because the thing is that we're all connected together on this planet. So therefore, there's a social responsibility. There's a community responsibility that we owe to one another, because guess what? We are all in this together. What's the role of government then? What's the role of it? Is it not to take care of its citizens? Is that not what it is? Right? If that's the case, why are we poo-pooing and getting pissed off when they aren't taking care of their citizens? Why are we getting mad when we push for that to happen? I got more. Shit. Let me see. Let me put this up really quick. Hopefully this won't get me a copyright strike or whatever, but this is news anyway. Hang on. Just make sure the sound is on. All right.
Tell the committee what was the most embarrassing of all the incidences that you have alleged.
I think the one that was the most embarrassing was his discussion of pornography involving these women with large breasts and engaged in variety of sex with different people or animals. That was the thing that embarrassed me the most and made me feel the most humiliated.
You see that person next to Biden? That's Ted Kennedy. Also, allegedly, he killed somebody years ago and then was let off the hook. Just let you guys know who actually represents us. Anyway, continuing on.
If you can, in his words, not yours, in his words, can you tell us what on that occasion he said to you? You have described the essence of the conversation. In order for us to determine, well, can you tell us in his words what he said?
I really cannot quote him verbatim. I can remember something like, you really ought to see these films that I've seen, or this material that I've seen. This woman has this kind of breast, or a breast that measure this size, and they've got her in there with all kinds of things. She's doing all kinds of.
By the way, how many of you can recount verbatim what people say at a specific time, especially when it's something that's kind of traumatic at that moment? Like, how many of you can actually do that? You can give whatchamacallit. You can paraphrase what somebody says, but a lot of times it's hard to quote verbatim. And this is basically what Joe Biden is asking for.
Of different sex acts, and that kind of those were the kinds of words where he expressed his enjoyment of it and seemed to try to encourage me to enjoy that kind of material as well.
Did he indicate why he thought you should see this material?
What? What kind of question is that?
No.
Why do you think? What was your reaction? Why did you think he was saying these things to you?
Well, coupled with the pressure of going out with him, I felt that implicit in this discussion about sex was the offer to have sex with him, not just to go out with him. There was never any explicit thing about going out to dinner or going to a particular concert or movie. It was, we ought to go out. And given these other conversations, I took that to mean we ought to have sex, or we ought to look at these pornographic movies together.
Justice Clarence Thomas, people. Justice Clarence Thomas. So this is the same guy that was like, oh, well, let's overturn Roe v. Wade and put it back to the states. Yeah. Same with racism and sexism. Savvy says, I also want people to realize that Anita Hill was talking to a panel of men. She stood alone. A panel of men. One thing that we men have to keep in mind is that we literally live in a system that sees and treats women as less than. And if you don't know what that feels like, then my best suggestion to you is to quiet yourself and listen and try to be as empathetic as you possibly can be. And if you are in a disenfranchised position in this country, then try to see it from your position as a disenfranchised person. That's what you can do. Thank you, Sabi. Yeah, that's true too. Mm-hmm. By the way, just so you guys know, let me see. Make sure I share. Here we go. This is the DC Abortion Fund website. And then if you guys can, there is the donate tab right here. You guys can go there to help them out. So just putting that out there too. Now, of course, there are people out there that are there are people that are protesting in large numbers. Let me see. I think I have it saved. And while people are protesting in large numbers, you have things like this happening. So shout out to Ryan Knight for sharing this. Sorry, I'm going to subject you guys to this, but it's, He said, kneeling on kente cloth and reading poetry is how Democrats respond to injustice and inequality. It is no wonder they always lose when they hold majority. They are worse than useless, and they are taking up space of where a real left party should be. This is Nancy Pelosi's reaction.
I am personally overwhelmed by this decision. From time to time, I quote,
she's overwhelmed by this decision, yet a few years ago, she said that, focusing on this is not going to be good for the party. And now she's like, she's overwhelmed by this decision.
This poem by Ehud Manor. He's an Israeli poet. I met his wife when I've been in Israel. He says, I have no other country, even though my land is burning. Only a word in Hebrew penetrates my veins, my soul, with an aching body and with a hungry heart. I not give up on her. I shall face. Clearly, we hope that the Supreme Court would open its eyes. I am personally overwhelmed by this decision.
Yep. She's personally overwhelmed. No, she's not. She's grifting. She's lying. She's lying. She lied to y'all. She's continuing to lie to you. Meanwhile, y'all want to know what's happening right now? Let's take a look. Let's take a look, shall we? What's going on right now? Shout out to Manu Raju. Yep. You see this? This is what's happening. For the peaceful protesters out there, mind you, let me ask y'all. Actually, let me let this continue to be played with the sound off. Let me ask y'all something really quick. Where were these guys on January 6th? Where were they? Where were these guys in riot gear? I mean, they literally have buses. They could have stopped all these broke-ass Peter Parker wannabes from climbing the walls of Congress. They literally could have done that. But for some odd reason, they couldn't be there. And yet, when people are actually protesting about body autonomy, about something that actually happened within the Supreme Court, and yet you get all this. You get police in riot gear. Right? And what happened? Oh, they, after January 6th, decided to give more funding to the Capitol Police. Colin says, fact, I live in D.C. and people knew about the insurrection for weeks prior. Yes. They knew about it for weeks. And where were these guys? Nowhere to be found. In fact, the police let them in. They opened the barricades. They let them in. But now you have peaceful protesters that are protesting about the obstruction of their body autonomy. And now, look, here you go. Look. Now you got these guys. You got the stormtroopers. All it needs is a soundtrack. Dun 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 dun. That's basically what the soundtrack should be. Hell, look. John Kemper said, I don't live in D.C. and he knew. He doesn't even live in D.C. and he knew. all for protesting body autonomy. Right? Let's go here. This is what's going on around the nation. Let's call it out. Arizona right-wing watch on here. Watch. This is what's going on. This is at a protest. Last night. Yeah. They say, FYI, there was no warning to disperse beforehand. This was the warning. Shooting tear gas into the crowd. They're gassing the crowd. This is what's going on. Like, for real? Meanwhile, this is what's going on. This is what was going on. Meanwhile, people were literally protesting about this. This is what your elected officials, our elected officials, were doing.
From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
God, stop it! Do y'all see what's going on? Pure performance. It's a performance. It's never about your rights. They never actually cared. It's about performance. That's what it is. It's a literal performance. And you got these people sitting here going, oh, well, maybe we should, we should sing. Yes, we should sing, instead of actually doing something. Instead of actually calling for an emergency session in Congress and trying to codify Roe v. Wade into law, whipping the votes that they could actually be doing instead, or even trying to end the filibuster that they could probably try to do, and then throwing people like Sinema and Manchin and the other Democrats that are also against it under the bus, and they could actually be pushing towards that. Instead, they just, they're like, well, no, we can't do that because we don't have the votes. gosh. So who's to blame for this? Sing it with me, everybody. The Democrats. Yes, they're to blame. We can't sit here and talk about how, oh, well, and here's the funny thing. Wasn't Nancy Pelosi the one that said we need a strong Republican Party? Wasn't she the one who said that? No. Okay. Who the fuck is here? Sorry. Wasn't there a strong Republican Party we're supposed to be having that Nancy Pelosi talked about? My question is this. What part of opposition don't you understand? And some people will be like, well, the Republican Party is supposed to be a check on the Democrats. Apparently, there is no check. Because every single year, the country moves further to the right, further to the right, further to the right, further to the right. I got 40 people watching right now. I want y'all to quote me now on this. And after reading Parenti's book, he convinced me we now live in fascism. I know some people in the independent media space are going to be like, oh, well, that's hyperbolic. No. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being literal. I think we literally live in fascism. I really do. The only reason why people don't think we do is because there hasn't been an explosive moment to actually show, to truly manifest it in front of people's eyes. But the undercurrent of everything that's going on, it points straight to fascism. The suspension of all of our rights, the suspension of our rights to protest, the suspension of our rights to body autonomy, the suspension of our rights to protest, to say the things that we really want to in public. Like, literally, I can't talk. You can't teach kids about what actually happened with Black people in this nation. And people will be like, well, no, because, that would require to have Nazis in government. Operation Paperclip, anybody? They've existed in our government for a long ass time. I'm sincere. I'm being deeply honest right now. I honestly do think that we live in a fascist state. It's going to come to a point where one faction of the people is going to go up sincerely against the government, and then you're going to see how the government really is. You're going to see how deep in the fascism we really are. It's just like having a pot full of oil, full of grease, and you heat it up really, really hot. But the thing is, you don't really know how hot it is until that little drop of water goes into that hot pot of grease. And then you're like, holy shit, it's hot. That drop of water is going to hit that pot of grease, and then people are going to see the true manifestation of how bad it is in this country. And a lot of us have been canaries in the coal mine, and you guys have not been paying attention. And for that simple reason, now some of y'all are actually paying attention. But some of us, particularly those of us that got testicles, we're still not paying attention. We're still not looking with our eyes and hearing with our ears and saying, oh man, things have gotten really bad. Like, suspension of Miranda rights? Really? Finding out that through the Supreme Court that the police do not have the constitutional duty to protect you? Really? Sending sending billions of dollars to Nazis and a country that starts with a U that rhymes with propane? Like, come on, man. Hello, Taiji. It says it's actually critical mass situations. You can't maintain an experiment infinitely. Either the system collapses or you turn it off. Yeah. And a lot of people are saying, well, we should just go out and protest. Not with the "We Shall Overcome" holding signs and then just singing along. I think we're past that point. I honestly do. I think we're really past that point. And here's the crazy part that I want people to think about. All of what's going on right now is because our government is owned by corporations, by the super wealthy. They're doing this because they want us to have more workers. They want the birth rate to increase, even by force, so that they continue to have more workers, so that they can actually pull in more wealth because they want it all. Why do you think that we're now extracting resources from other countries? Why in the hell did you think we were in Afghanistan for over 20 years? Why do you think the United States wants to go after the country that starts with an R? Resources. Follow the money. That's what we got to do. We got to follow the money. Hey, Joe Sana. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining in. And they're going to tell you, just keep voting harder. Just squeeze your eyes really tight and just vote harder. It's just like, voting for Democrats is like, it's like voting to increase the police budgets for the Capitol Police when the Capitol Police were the same ones who allowed the protesters in January 6th to come in. Like, the police literally allowed them to come in. Why are you rewarding bad behavior? Why are we rewarding bad behavior by continuing to vote for Democrats? And I'm gonna say this: there are some people who are like, oh, but they have good intentions. Some people who are running, who claim to be progressive, yes, they have great intentions. Thank you, Sabby. Please hit the like button. But some of them have really good intentions. But the problem is, I'm not focusing on the individual candidates. I'm focusing on the party itself. They do not care. And even the people who have good intentions who are running, guess what? You will not get in that party. You're not going to get in. They're not going to let you in. And even if they do, there's going to be a ton of money and resources waiting for you to slowly make you drift away from your original purpose. Because that's what they do. Some of them had a very good reason, they had, I'm sorry, they had good intentions to go in when they went in. They had good intentions. But now look. Taiji says, JB and Savvy Sabs, I'll be getting a new computer soon. When this happens, I would love to come on your shows to explain all the truly evil shit I oversaw in the 90s at NASA. Woo! Correct me, Ty. Wasn't NASA part of a lot of what happened in Operation Paperclip and actually putting Nazis into the NASA space programs as well? You had Nazi scientists that were also employed into NASA. Here's the funny part. Reality is stranger than fiction. Remember especially when a lot of people who watch the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, remember when everybody was talking about Hydra and how Hydra infiltrated, Hydra infiltrated, oh my God, how they infiltrated SHIELD and how they were working within the inner workings of SHIELD. All that fictional stuff actually happened in reality in the United States government. Because Hydra was the Nazi scientist division, and then they got them, like, for instance, they got Arnim Zola to work in SHIELD, and then he was under the cover, building up Hydra. Right? Remember that? That was based on reality. See, the funny thing about Marvel is Marvel never actually does something without actually looking at historical context, and then they put it in the comics, but you think it's fictional, but it actually already happened. Like, for instance, the X-Men was actually created in order to address prejudice and racial inequality by making mutants the subject of that inequality in the comics. But really, it had to do with racial inequality for blacks. So guess what? The whole thing with Captain America and Hydra being the part of the Nazi science division and infiltrating SHIELD. Guess what? That literally happened here in the United States and in America. That literally happened. But people are like, "Oh, that would never happen. We don't have Nazis in our government." Where do you think they got their ideas from, baby? Josana says, I think I prefer chaos. As we see our rights taken away from us in a snap of fingers, we get to learn we've never had them. In the United States of America, all is performative, just like a TV show. Now the truth is here. She continues, since we've never had the rights, let's go demand it. And people are going to be like, well, we shouldn't go do that thing. Said Ty said Hydra comics started in the 1960s during MK Ultra. If we really are going to get serious about protesting, we need to pull money together and get bulletproof vests. These motherfuckers are ready to start blasting soon as shit gets real. Well, I mean, they are the goons of the ultra rich and wealthy, so of course I don't put it, past them to put live rounds in and start shooting people. I mean, they're ready to pop people's eyes out with rubber bullets, and those rubber bullets are they call them non-lethal, but guess what? You will lose an eye, you will lose a hip, they will break you. They could still kill you. Taiji says they call it DARPA, though. Yeah. Also, God, they look so dumb doing that performance. I had something else that I needed to share. This was yesterday. Now, I'm going to share something, but I'm also going to say something that might be kind of controversial. But it is what it is. This was yesterday, right after the Supreme Court. Why? I know it's going to sound pretty controversial. January 6th was done over an kind of an idiotic reason. I mean, because they were, just trying to make sure to keep Trump in office, whatever. Like, I don't give a shit about Trump, and Trump can fuck off for all I care, because he is basically a fascist too. But they were willing to scale the walls over something idiotic, over perceived. Well, I don't even know if it's perceived, because the truth be told, I don't really think we have much of a democracy in the first place. But they were willing to do that over that. And I see a lot of subdued people right there. I just see a lot of people that are just subdued. But like, I look, this is gonna sound weird, but I just have a feeling that people are going to forget. People are just gonna forget. They're gonna forget, and then next thing you know, it's just gonna happen. Like, and then another right's gonna get sent back to the States. It's gonna happen over and over again. They're taking your rights away, and you're just not you guys, but they're allowing it to happen. Like, this is you can't. The civility for people who continuously do uncivil things. It's like the uncivil are asking for civility when they would never give us that deference in the first place. Like, why are we giving them that deference? Martin says, my condolences to the gay community in Norway. What happened in Norway? Hang on. Did somebody say something that happened in Norway that I didn't hear about? Happened in Norway. What happened in Norway? It's kind of hard to pay attention to the chat because, I can only chew gum and walk at different times. My brain's not that. I can't multitask that well. But oh, fuck. Are you kidding right now? Shit. Mass shooting in a gay club in Norway? God damn it. Please don't tell me that. Hang on. Damn. Wow. Thank you very much for letting me know that. Wow. Kurdish man killed 2 and injured 20. Oh boy. Sulamoon says flashbacks of Pulse nightclub. Gearing if my brother was there that night. My heart breaks for those in Norway. Did you guys know I live literally 8 minutes away from Pulse? In fact, that same month I was thinking about going. Was just coming out of the closet and I wanted to go with my friend, but I didn't have money to go, and plus it would have been like really short notice, but I did want to go. And it happened that same month where I wanted to go to Pulse. And I saw friends of mine who I've known for years that were there that night. And they were on the news. One of them, she was talking to Juju Chang of ABC News. Yeah. She was there and she lost friends. Yeah. So yeah, I literally live 8 minutes away. Pulse nightclub is not that far away from me. So that was a very tough week because I literally had to come to grips where not only do I have to be in fear of my life because I'm a black man whenever I see police, but also there's somebody out there that also wants to kill me based on my sexual orientation. And I'm disabled. And my country also doesn't really want to see me thrive in this world as well. I'm going to be talking about that on the JB show on RBN tomorrow about how they're literally trying to cut Social Security, and I am a Social Security disability beneficiary. So they're literally trying to sanction me. They're already trying to sanction me on Medicare by raising my Medicare premiums, but also now they're trying to cut the Social Security that I get to survive on. They're also trying to do that too. And now you have Clarence Thomas literally trying to go after gay rights. So take care, Ty. Thank you so much for informing us of all that. I appreciate it. But yeah, so there's so much to be talked about, so much to be said. I hope that people, you know what? Scratch that. Tell people who the blame really falls on. And then when people ask, well, what should we do now? I want you to point them in the direction of this video. Here's what you need to do, okay? Get into organizations and organize with people to get your ass out in the streets in order to, and also create demands, right? If you can also try to do things like boycotts. By the way, the Supreme Court is also trying to I think the Supreme Court's trying to outlaw BDS. I think it's either in the local court or Supreme Court. I can't remember, but they're trying to outlaw BDS. Yeah, but whenever you can, do boycotts, do strikes if you can. Push for mutual aid. Mutualaidhub.org is a great resource. If you know of anybody that's running, especially locally or state, that is going and a independent or third party, try to throw your support behind them. If you have a little extra dollars, give either mutual aid to people, or if you want to throw your support behind somebody that's running third party, especially those who may be anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist third party, throw either your resources or your time behind them. If you are a content creator, I don't care if it's in written form, I don't care if it's in podcast or it's in video format like this. All of you within the sound of my voice, start interviewing more activists, especially people who are, abortion rights activists, housing right activists, people who are activists for, against, or who are for defunding the police, activists who are for, who are against the wars, also third party candidates, independent candidates. I'm talking to people, like you who are, even though I have my massive disagreements, those of you who have the biggest platforms out there, people like you, Crystal Ball, people like you, Kyle Kalinske, people like you, Mike Figueredo, people like you, Hassan Piker, all y'all, if you guys truly are about policy over party, you guys need to actually start having people who are third party, who are running either locally or state or even federally. You guys need to start having them on. Start having on actual activists who are on the ground, not just people who are in higher academia. Start having them on. Start putting people like Sabby on. Please, Brianna Joy Gray, please get Sabby on your show on Bad Faith Podcast. Let's be real. Let's start having people like her on. Let's start having people on who are working outside of the duopoly. Please don't talk about, we just need to vote in more Democrats. You see what's going on right now. You see what's going on right now. They are literally complicit in what's going on. And are you still going to keep going, we just need to vote for more Democrats? No. What are you doing to actually put policy into place that actually will improve the material conditions for people's lives? Don't sit here and be like somebody like, I'm not even going to mention his name because he doesn't deserve it, but a certain particular person that lives in Miami that just wants to grift and make sure that people only stay within that party, and then we still keep having things like this happen. Are we still going to sit here and allow for this Democratic Party reformation to continue, even though we notice that it doesn't work? Are we still going to sit here and continuing to allow our rights to continuously be eroded in this way? Are we going to sit here and talk about this is the most important election of our lifetime, when here's the problem? You have the same person that eroded all of our rights in the Senate and then as vice president, and now he's president. Are you still going to sit here and say, we just need to re-elect him? Trump's second term is already here, and his name is Joe Biden. That's Trump's second term. Are we prepared to have a third? Are we prepared to have a third? And somebody came into my comments about a video, a couple videos ago, talking about how, oh well, the Democrats are horrible. Trump did all this great stuff. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. No, Trump is horrible, just like Biden. In fact, I would argue that Biden's even more dangerous because Biden is just a Donald Trump that actually has 40 years experience in government. And so talking about how, like what Sam Cedar said, oh, well, the Democrats are our best shot that we have. No, they are not. You're literally taking away the third option that we've been having. You're literally depressing the third option. And please don't come at me with that they don't have the numbers, because you literally can have them on and make them famous. You literally can. I got, what, 1,500 subs? Some of y'all have it here 10 times, 20, 30 times the amount of subs that I do. And you guys don't even want to bring on a third-party candidate because you guys want to work through the Democratic Party, even though the Democratic Party allowed our rights for Roe versus Wade to be overturned. Mike Figueredo, how long are you going to wait for Democrats to sit idly by when people like you and me, us queer guys, they're going to overturn our rights to marry who we want to marry? Are you going to sit by? Are you going to sit idly by and continuously say we need to vote for more Democrats? Come on, bro. Come on, dude. Let's get out into the streets. Marsha P. Johnson, thank God for that brick that she threw. Thank God for Marsha P. Johnson. A trans black woman was one of the reasons why we were able to get the rights that we have. Why? What she did direct action. And it wasn't very peaceful, by the way. This is why we're in the month of June and we're celebrating Pride Month. Why? Because of direct action. We got our rights because of direct action. Women got their rights because of direct action. We black people got our rights because of direct action. And the Democrats and the Republicans work in tandem with each other, so therefore it's not going to happen within them. I said a lot of names just now. I said a lot of names. And the thing is that we have to get to a point where we have to start looking at, we got to call a thing a thing. We can't sit here. Like Katie Halper, why aren't you having Savvy Sabs on to talk about this issue? Katie, please, have some of us on. Have people like Savvy Sabs and Kim Brown and Glory Jones on. Have the Bank sisters on. They're not going to, and I'm going to be honest with you, they're going to say we need to work outside the Democratic Party. We cannot depend on them. They're going to disagree with you on that. But that's okay, because that means that they have a different perspective other than you. I'm literally telling, platforming black women on the left. Ben Dixon, my brother. What had the Democratic Party really done for you, bro? What have they really done for you? All you need is one police officer to come in and take a look at your black ass, and next thing you know, you'll be 6 feet under with your wife and kids mourning your death, even though you're unarmed. And you got these fools, the Democratic Party, that still wants to fund the police more. Let's be real, bro. Let's be real. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. Let's get real. Those of you who are independent media and on the left and consider yourself to be on the left, start having more working class people on and poor people, because obviously there is a lack of urgency because you're too comfortable to realize how much in this shit we really are. Let's start listening. I am literally in a housing situation crisis right now because I can't afford it. But you don't have to have me on. Have Josana on. She is a Black Latina immigrant. Have her on. Talk to them. Colin, he has his own show. Have him on. He's literally an educator. Have him on. He's from the Indian News Network. Have Savage Joy Marie on. Some of y'all know her. Some of y'all have had her on your shows. Have her on. I'm sick of this, man. I'm sick of the lack of urgency. Your lack of urgency is actually allowing the fascist government, red fash, blue fash, in order to get stronger. You're literally pushing a right-wing party that is socially liberal on us, that continuously gives over to the right wing, constantly gives over to the Republicans. You're literally becoming complicit in this. I'm going to say it again. You're literally becoming complicit in this. We have to be serious about this right now. By the way, in July, the end of July, there's going to be a March for Medicare for All. Thank you for reminding me, Sabby. There's going to be a March for Medicare for All in Washington, D.C. I hope all of you can make it. Those of you who have access to get out there. Of course, I don't because I'm broke and poor as shit. I can't get out there. Plus, I can't be outside because if I start sweating, then this catheter in my chest will get wet. And next thing you know, I'll be in the hospital with an infection for at least 5 days. So I can't get out there like I want to. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to announce it and let people know about it. What about Camp Dada? Are we going to start talking about Camp Dada? Those of you who haven't talked about it, please have Savvy, Josana, and the Bank Sisters on to talk about Camp Dada. Why aren't we talking about Camp Dada? Let's talk about that. Let's do it. And I get that some people are going to be like, well, that's not my role. You know, I'm not an activist. I'm a journalist. Okay, but have more of them on. And I get it. You guys want to have the Adolph Reeds and the Breonna Joy Grays, and you guys want to have the Dr. Cornel West on, and that's fine and good. But what about the Nico Houses? What about the Sabrina Salvadis? What about the Josanas? What about the Glory Joneses and the Bank Sisters? Right? What about the Collins? What about the Unapologetics? What about Ajimo Baraka? What about Margaret Kimberley? What about Danny Haiphong? What about Cynthia McKinney? What about the Romes? Yes, Sulamoon. What about the Romes? Why not have these people on? Why not have them to talk about it? You can't sit here and talk about, oh, we want to create change, and then you have literally people who are actually out there doing the damn thing, and you don't have them on. Oh, because their channel's not that big? Is that why? Or they have massive disagreements with you? They may have said some things that rub you the wrong way? Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, yeah, Malika Jabai Warner. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's have these people on. Let's talk about having poor and working class people on who are also in this space, who may not agree with reforming the Democratic Party, but who are doing the damn thing. And I'm saying this not to be adversarial. I'm literally supplicating all of you. Let's do this. We're always constantly talking about, oh, the left is not united. The left is not united. Then let's unite them. We are literally the voices that are really disseminating to the left right now. We're literally the voices. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am quite happy that Jordan Sheridan had me on. Look, I'm gonna clap it up for him. Thank you for Jordan for having me on. What about the rest of you? I mean, God, like, what's his name? God, I'm blanking on people's names. I'm sorry, but I had dialysis yesterday and it made my brain foggy. I apologize, but he created the leveler. People help me out. Gosh. Who? God, what's his name? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. David Sirota. Why not have us on, David Sirota? I know you blocked RBN, so why not have us on? Why not have us on to talk about the disagreement? I don't want to go over my time too much, but something's got to change, man. I'm new to this space, man. We gotta change, man. We're already doing it. Like MCSC, the Indian News Network, those of us at RBN, you know what? We're all doing cross-pollination. We're all on each other's shows. We're all, basically, you see us exchange. And for somebody with as big of a channel that he has, Jimmy Dore, he came on my show. He came on Savvy's. He came on RBN. That, you might have your disagreements with him, and yes, we do. But at the same time, he's willing to platform those of us that are smaller and a lot of us that are, minorities in this country who are disenfranchised. He's willing to do that. Crystal Ball, Kyle Kalinske? Anybody? Mike? David? Chank? Anna? Anybody? Not willing to have us on? Not willing to talk to us? Is that a no? But this is one of the things we need to do. We can't sit here and make if we're really going to try to push, for the left to actually gain ground. And you know what? It's not even a left issue. It's a class issue. No, it's a class issue. If we're really going to gain ground on this class issue, if we really want to win this class war, we're going to have to push as much as we can against this. Housing is a class issue. Healthcare is a class issue. Education is a class issue. This is all about class. That's what it is. And if you truly care about class, I don't care if you're in the upper echelons of class in this society. If you care about those of us that are disenfranchised, please have us on. Have a conversation. Please recognize that your opinions could be skewed because of you being in an upper class, because of you being on a higher tax bracket. So therefore, allow us to help keep you grounded. Have those of us on. Have some of our activist brothers and sisters on. The people who are literally on the ground. People who are constantly marginalized. Yes, mad scientist Mike. Other marginalized groups. Yes. Have them on. Yes, a lot of us are going to disagree with the democratic reformist route. We just are. And that is not based on something false that we just thought up. We have literally been reading the tea leaves and looking at the historical analysis over the last 40 years, and this is why we come to this conclusion. That's the thing. Let me ask you this. Are you a party loyalist? Or are you loyal to policy? If you're loyal to policy, party does not matter. Focus on the policy, people. And focus on making our government what it could be. And everybody talking about, oh, well, our government used to be. No. The government never was for everybody. It was not. This government wasn't created. But we can take that shit and make it our own. This government was never created for anybody other than land-owning white men. But we can take it and make it our own and make it for everyone. We can take the government that was built upon genocide and make it a country, a government that builds upon giving, more rights and life to people. Yeah, too busy trying to go on Bill Maher. Tommy John says, if you're loyal to party, policy doesn't matter. Vote blue, right? SG says this country still propagandizes as if it's the land of the free. Yeah. It never really was, because if it was the land of the free, then you also would have had freedom for women and black people when this country was first formed. It never was the land of the free, because it was the land of the free, then it would have been free for all, but it never was. That was subjective. It was subjective. It wasn't absolute. That's the thing. Raziel says, honestly, these types of people ignore these channels because they are simply too small for their brand. And honestly, that exposed who they ultimately are, including BJG. Thank you for the comment. Let me see. Sabi Sab says, as a black woman in this space, is pretty disturbing to see another black woman ignore me yet speak to my black male comrades. Thank you, Sabi. Mad Scientist Mike says, corruption happens so easily for the indie left media, it seems. A handful of payola from the NED is all it takes for most. I love RBM because they seem beyond that. And I'm not going to say that it's easy, because the thing is that there are, as we grow, there's going to be more people who are going to want to throw money our way, and then it's going to want to pervert us from our message. The thing is that one of the reasons why we also have lives like this is because you all keep us grounded. We have to stay that way. We have to stay in touch with you, because if not, then anybody can get perverted in this space. Uni, what you're saying is what I said earlier about social responsibility, community responsibility. That's the type of mentality that we need to have. And I want to thank you for this comment. That's exactly what I'm saying. I appreciate this, because that's what it's all about. It's about really putting ourselves in a position where we constantly are looking out, not just for ourselves, but also for each other. As she says, I'm from India and they have free hospitals for poor. College is subsidized and free in India. So those doctors and IT people you see come here with no student loans. We could have that, man. We could have all this. We can have good things. Look, like I talked with Jabari Morris, who's from Real Progressives. Shout out to Jabari Morris, people like Andy Kennedy and Steve Grumbine. Shout out to all you brothers out there. We can have nice things in this country. It's just political will, but also is the will and the gumption of people in order to push for it. But the people sometimes just don't realize it, because they're constantly being brainwashed. They're constantly being brainwashed into thinking that they just have to vote, when we literally can actually push for it in the streets. We literally can. Hell, this is why they don't want people to go to Cuba, because they don't want people to realize what actually happened when people like Castro's actually kicked the United States puppets out, and all their slave holding people out. And so then they were actually able to reform the government for the people. But nobody really wants to talk about that. If you're going to have a summit, Miss Williamson, if you're going to have a summit and talk about people who were not bought by corporations, and if you're going to have a summit that for people who are talking about the policies that we want, I recommend you look at people like Shama Sawant in Socialist Alternative. You can go to PSL, Party for Socialism and Liberation. You can go to the Green Party. You can go to many other different independent candidates. You can look at third-party and independent candidates who also follow by these policy prescriptions and also have them on and uplift their voices too. Invite Cynthia McKinney to talk. Invite Jill Stein to talk. Invite them on. Invite so many different people who are working outside of duopoly who also believe, or maybe even further to the left, on these issues. Anyway, I'm not saying this to attack anybody. I'm saying if we really want to get real about tackling these issues, even from a journalistic standpoint, it's time to start having people on who don't have a college education or aren't as famous. I don't have a college education, by the way. Never went to college. The only times I stepped foot into college was during, when I was in high school when we did a tour. I'm not college educated. I have a high school diploma. That's it. But I see what goes on in my life, and I see what goes on around me. So I think it is best to start having those of us who are working poor people on to really talk about these issues. As we seen yesterday. And I would have went live yesterday, but I had dialysis, so I had to get my rest. But we have to change something. Our rights are literally being torn apart. And this is more of a supplication to all of you to change this. But unfortunately, I'm also very realistic. So a lot of you aren't going to pay attention to a damn word I just said, and you're just going to flippantly just say, nah, we don't care. Or you're going to make excuses as to why you can't do what I recommended. That's just what's going to happen. And this video is probably going to get probably 200 and 250 views. A few people will probably tag the same people who I said, directed things towards on Twitter, and they're just going to avoid it. They're not really going to see this. And then they're going to act like they didn't hear a damn word that I just said. They're going to act like they weren't tagged at all. And then they're going to keep on going and saying that we just need to collect more progressives in Congress. And then they're going to be wondering why a lot of people who are in the chat right now are in their live streams talking about how feckless the Democrats really are. And then they're going to get pissed off, and then they're going to stop doing lives and then just start destroying straight uploads so they won't have to see your comments. That's what they're going to do. And then once the Democrats get shellacked this November, like we predicted, then they're going to be all surprised and shocked. But I thought that Roe v. Wade was on the ballot. And continuously having your academic elites on to talk about these things, which, they're great on some issues, but at the same time, they're not working class like the rest of us. And so, yes, keep having them on. And then keep being surprised by when people like MCSC, INN, and RBN keep pushing the envelope about leaving the Democratic Party and going the different direction. And then next thing you know, you guys get pissed off because you're saying, well, the left is divided, when really it's not a divide of left versus right. It's a divide between top and bottom. It's a divide between class. And this is what we've been pushing. This is what we've been talking about the entire time. And the funny thing is, you guys keep talking. Some of y'all keep talking about it. But the thing is that you guys don't have us on to really give that correction, that adjustment in your thinking. Because you don't want us to have, to have us on. You guys want to go on Bill Maher and then correct Bill Maher on the issues, and yet you won't have us on to really correct you even further on the issues. And you guys need to come to the fact that somebody like Bill Maher is actually not ever going to be on our side, because he's loyal to the class that he's in. He is not loyal to any of us. And stop being so nostalgic about what Maher used to be. He's changed. He's done. He's a weed-smoking liberal that really only cares about the money that's in his bank account. That's all he is. What makes you think she's different than Nancy Pelosi? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Yes, Dana. It says, and you can be sure they will blame progressives for going too far left and causing the failure. Here's the crazy part. The progressives have been going left at all. Maybe rhetorically, but other than that, they haven't been going left. They haven't been challenging power. They haven't. And then look, every single time we try to push them to actually do what they said they were going to do, then they go, oh, well, you're being mean to them. Well, maybe if they did the job that they said they were going to do, then maybe we would actually treat them a little bit better. And yes, Gene, you're absolutely right. Not interested in personalities. Absolutely. The thing is that we need to come together and start focusing on the class. But the problem is that they too much are focused on personalities. Even though we're literally talking about the class issues that would actually help us with the what was going on in our nation as far as our material conditions. So I agree with you, Gene. Definitely. Anyway, I've kind of deviated. But if you guys can, please donate to DC Abortion Fund as scrolling down here. Thank you for the super chats for everyone who's been contributing during the stream. Those were literally my first super chats ever, so I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that's been watching on Rockfin. Even if you disagree with me fully, that's okay too. But yeah, let's really, if you guys really want to come together, become a class trader, start having a conversation with us. And prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, please. At this late stage, I detest being right on so many of these things that I've been right on. I can't stand it. I want to be proven wrong. Please prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong, that you guys are actually paying attention to those of us with the small channels that are actually saying these things. I want you to prove us wrong in that you don't think that, reforming the Democratic Party is the only way to go. I want you to prove us wrong on that. I want you to prove us wrong that there is a class divide on the left. I want you to prove us wrong on that. Let us be wrong. That's really all I had to say. If you're still watching, thank you so much for sticking around. Please make sure to put a like in the live stream. I don't even know. How many likes do I have? I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't been paying much attention. My back. I have 57 likes. Okay, if I could get like 10 more, that'd be cool. But if you guys can also please make sure to look at, different mutual aid networks and other networks within the area. I know uh, Jabir is also part of the Huey Newton Gun Club. You guys might want to look them up too. They're also trying to do some organizing too. And I can't wait. I'm going to be pushing also to have more third-party candidates on as well, so that we can talk about this, because this also is deeply important. I also want to have more independent journalists on. Danny Haifong, come on, man, let's go. Margaret Kimberley, please, Auntie Margaret. Max Blumenthal, please. You guys are brilliant, all of y'all. But yeah. And those of you who are sharing, I appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. It does mean a lot. You guys don't realize how much this means to me. I'm really trying to put the word out there, but it's about word of mouth too. Please keep talking to people. Kami John, thank you so much. Kami John says, big love. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all that you guys are doing also at Real Progressives, as well as educating the masses, which, by the way, it reminds me, I need to have Jabari, Andy, and Steve on for a MMT panel. Got to make that happen. Yeah, we need to make that happen. So, yeah, thank you so much, Kami John. But yeah, so anybody who is watching on the rewatch, if you guys can share this on your social media, please do so. I know there's some people who are going to come after me. I know some people are going to get angry with me. It's going to be in my DMs too. I know it. But the thing is that I said this because I really just want more of a solidarity when it comes to policy. And I really want a solidarity when it comes to working for the poor and working class. I emphasize the word poor because nobody gives a shit about us anymore. Nobody is really talking about us anymore, because working class has become a switch out for middle class, just so that they can sound more populist. Like, no, let's talk about the poor, because if you can uplift the poor, then that uplifts everybody else. Let's talk about the poor. And the thing is that just because you're poor, it doesn't mean it's your fault that you're poor. You're literally in a system that is predicated on you being poor so that the wealthy actually get richer. That's what this is about. It's always been about this. That's why the rich are rich, because we are poor. Let's be real. So let's start having people who are literally poor on, and who have a deep sense of urgency. Let's just do it. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining. I wish I could be a little bit more happier right now, but my brother's stressed. I'm planning on doing a special stream on RBN tonight for the sneakers, the sneaker ball, which Afeni will be one of the hosts of the Sneaker Ball, and I'll be doing that this evening. It will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on RBN. I don't know if it's still going. I think it's. I'm gonna err on the side that it's still going on, even though all this is going on about the Roe v. Wade decision. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I'm going to be on RBN tomorrow for my regular JB show, where I will be talking about some things that also came across my purview. I'll touch on this a little bit too, but I'll be talking mostly about some things that came on my purview tomorrow on the JB show on RBN. So stay tuned for that at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also Shama Sawant will be on this channel this Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's already been confirmed, so I'll be having her on. And just to let y'all know, Sabby is actually going to be having Shama Sawant on tomorrow evening. So make sure to catch that. And make sure if anybody is on RBN doing a show today, make sure to keep watch on RBN to see if they're doing any shows today as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And I just want to say love and solidarity to all of you, especially to those of you that are in possession of a uterus. Love and solidarity to all of you. Those of us who are, cisgender men as well as trans women. Those of you, look, make sure to make this one of your highest priorities, because we need to also speak out, for them as far as justice is concerned, because it's a very slippery slope for the rest of us. So I just want to make sure that we also keep that in mind too, because these are literally our loved ones. So we got to make sure that we keep them we need to be vigilant for them. So leave the world better than you found it. Forehead kisses. Forehead kisses.